Shri Rupa Raghunathavitam Tam Sajivam Sadavaitam Savadautam Prijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahana Lita Shivshakam Tapjanamo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Namaste Saraswati Devam Gaurani Charine Nirvisheshanandi Pashchapatishtarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinbandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopikanta Radha Vanda Namaste Tapta Kanchan Gaurani Shri Radha Vrindavaneshwari Krishna Bhanasate Devi Punam Hari Priya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Okay. तो रोटेट करके पढ़ते हैं। तो माता जी आप श्रीला प्रभुपाद मतलब हम कैसे करेंगे कि पहले मैं पढ़ूंगा, याद रखिएगा अपना, पहले मैं पढ़ूंगा फिर ईशु प्रभु पढ़ेंगे, उदित प्रभु तो म्यूट पे है, फिर अनुष्का माता जी और कनक माता जी पढ़ेंगे। सबको याद रहेगा, अपने पुराने वाला याद, अपने से पहले वाला याद रखिए तो आपको याद रहेगा फिर सीक्वेंस। तो पहले मैं, फिर ईशु प्रभु, फिर अनुष्का माता जी, फिर कनक माता जी, ठीक है। एक एक सेंटेंस ऐसे पढ़ते रहेंगे हम लोग। ओके माता जी थोड़ा नीचे कर लीजिए, पूरा दिखेगा है ना। ओके कैन एनी साइंटिस्ट क्रिएट अ फ्लावर लाइक, ओके थोड़ा और ऊपर कीजिए। हाँ अब दिख रहा है। कैन एनी साइंटिस्ट क्रिएट अ फ्लावर लाइक दिस इन द लेबोरेटरी?
That is not possible.
No, it is not. Just see how wonderfully Krishna's energy is working. No scientist can create a flower like this in the laboratory. They cannot create even a few grains of sand. Yet they claim to possess the most advanced intellects in the universe. This is foolish.
They take matter from Krishna, manipulate it, and then claim that they have created something wonderful.
At least if they would admit that they have taken the matter from Krishna, that would be good. We understand that everything comes from Krishna.
But they will not admit that they are taking anything from Krishna. Instead, they say that they are the creators.
How have they created anything? They take the sand and mix it with some chemicals and make glass. They have not created the sand or the chemicals. They have taken them from the earth. How have they created anything?
They say we have taken the materials from nature.
From nature means from a person. They have taken from nature, but they are thieves because everything in nature belongs to Krishna. Isavashyam idam sarvam. Everything is God's creation. Ishopanishad 1. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna states that if one does not perform yagna, sacrifice, he is a thief. Yagna means acknowledge that things have been taken from Krishna. We should think, Krishna, you have given us many, many things for our maintenance. This much acknowledgement Krishna wants. That's all. Otherwise, what can he expect from you? What are you in his presence? We should acknowledge Krishna's kindness. Therefore, before we eat, we offer the food to Krishna and say, Krishna, you have given us this night food. So first you taste it. Then we eat it. Krishna is not hungry, yet he can eat the whole world and then again produce it exactly as it was. Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Iva Vishishyate. Ishopanishad invocation mantra. Krishna is so perfect that if you take from Krishna all of Krishna's energy, all the original energy is still with him. That is perfect conservation of energy.
There is a scientist journal called Nature. It contains an article concerning natural products like plants, flower, and minerals. But it does not mention God.
We may rightly observe that plants are being produced by nature. But the next question we must ask is, who has produced nature? To ask this is real intelligence.
They don't generally think about this.
Then they are foolish. Where does nature come from? As soon as we speak of nature, the next question should be, whose nature? Is it not so? For instance, I speak of my nature and you speak of your nature. Therefore, as soon as we speak of nature, the next inquiry should be, whose nature? Nature energy we must inquire into the source of that energy. For example, if you speak of electric energy, you must accept its source, the powerhouse. How can you deny it? Electricity does not come to us automatically. Similarly, nature is not working automatically. It is under the control of Krishna.
In the Vedas, it is said that material energy works under Krishna's direction.
Yes, as soon as you speak of energy, there must be a source.
Geologists study the strata of the Earth's crust to trace out the origin of the Earth.
But these status are being created and destroyed at every moment. Now they are 1.5 hour from now, they will be different. They are Jagat, always changing. Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, shloka 4, Adi Bhutam Kisharo Bhavaha. Physical nature is known to be endlessly mutable. Therefore, one cannot find out the source of all energy simply by observing the energy itself. Now, the Earth's strata may be black, later they may be white, and then again black. So, the geologists study the black color, then the white color, again the black, and so on. This is called Punha Punas Charvita Charvaranam, chewing the chewed. Now it is cold, at midday it will be warm, and at night it will be cold again. In this way, the entire material cosmic manifestation is subject to different types of change. Even our bodies are changing, everything is changing. But what is the eternity behind this changing? That is the subject of people knowledge. The scientists do not find that eternity, and therefore they are disappointed. They think that the background of everything is void or zero. They think that eternity is zero. And when they are asked where this zero comes from, they say it comes from nothing. So we must ask them, how have the varieties come about? The Vedic conclusion is that variety is eternal. Although the changing varieties the scientists study in the material world are temporary. These varieties are shadow varieties. Real variety exists eternally in the spiritual world.
So the material universe is like mirage.
Yes, suppose I think I see water in a desert where when there is when there is not water. This is an illusion. Water exists but not in a mirage. Similarly, the material varieties we see, the varieties of enjoyment are like that mirage. We, the living entities, are meant for enjoyment, but we are seeking enjoyment in a false place, in an illusion. We are like the desert animals who run after water in a mirage and eventually die of thirst. They cannot relieve their thirst with such illusory water. Similarly, we are trying to manufacture many things to satisfy our thirst for enjoyment, but we are being baffled at every turn because material existence is an illusion. Therefore, real existence means to inquire, where is the reality? Where is the eternal substance behind the illusion? If we can find that out, we can experience real enjoyment.
Probably Swati Mataji has also joined.
ठीक है, तो फिर आपके बाद वो पढ़ेंगे और फिर मैं पढ़ूंगा, ठीक है? वही सीक्वेंस रहेगा. तो उसमें बस आपके बाद स्वाति पढ़ने लगेगी और फिर मैं पढ़ूंगा, ठीक है? सो प्लीज कंटिन्यू.
The fourth morning walk. Everyone is suffering here in the material world, and scientific improvement means that the scientists are creating a situation of further suffering. That's all. They are not making improvements. Bhaktivedanta Thakur confirms this by saying, Moha Janamya Anitya Samsare Jiva ke Karya Gada. By so-called scientific improvements, the scientist has become an ass. Moreover, he is becoming a better and better ass and nothing more. Suppose that by working hard like an ass, a person builds a skyscraper. He may engage in a lifelong labor for this, but ultimately he must die. He cannot stay. He will be kicked out of his skyscraper because material life is impermanent. Scientists are constantly doing research, and if you ask them what are they doing, they say, oh, it is for the next generation, for the future. But I say, what about you? What about your skyscraper? If in your next life you are going to be a tree, what will you do with your next generation then? But he is an ass. He does not know that he is going to stand before his skyscraper for 10,000 years. And what about the next generation? If there is no petrol, what will be the next generation do? And how will the next generation help him if he is going to be a cat, a dog, or a tree? Should I continue, Prabhuji?
हाँ माता जी आप भी कंप्लीट कर लीजिए इसको.
The scientist and everyone else should endeavor to achieve freedom from the repetition of birth and death. But instead, everyone is becoming more and more entangled in the cycle of birth and death. Bhavis mem kalyas manen avidya kam karambhiti karambhi. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.35. Here in one line, the whole material existence is explained. This is literature. This one line is worth thousands of years of research work. It explains how the living entity is taking birth in this world, where he comes from, where he is going, what his activity should be, and many other essential things. The word bhave, smim, kalasmiyam refer to the struggle for existence. Why does this struggle exist? Because of avidya, ignorance. And what is the nature of that ignorance? Kam karahambi, being forced to work simply for the senses, or in other words, entanglement in material sense gratification.
स्वाति
Swati Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So, is it true that modern scientific research increases the demands of the body because the scientist is ultimately working to gratify his senses?
yes.
It is said in the Vedas, Yasmin Vidyate Sarvam Evam Vidyatam Bhavanti. If one knows the absolute truth, then all other things become known. I'm not a PhD, yet I am yet I can challenge a scientist. Why? Because I know Krishna, the absolute truth. Yasmin Shikshato na Dukkhena Guru Napi Vichalate. If one is situated in Krishna consciousness, then even in the greatest calamities, he cannot be disturbed. Bhagavad Gita 6.22, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.22 declares Avichate Ratha Kavabhir Nirupate Yad Uttam Shlokam Guna Guna प्रभु जी से कैसे पढ़ेंगे गुना गुना विनर
Gunanuvarnanam.
Gunanuvarnam. Greatest personality has decided that Krishna consciousness is the perfection of life. This kind of knowledge is required. Not that we do some research, come up with a theory, and after 15 years says, no, it is not right. It is another thing. That is not science. That is a childish play.
That is how they discover things, by research.
And what is the cost of the research? It is a scientific method for drawing money from others. That's all. In other words, it is cheating. Scientists juggle words like plutonium, photons, hydrogen, and oxygen. But what good will people get from this? When people hear this jugglery of words, what can they say? One scientist explains something to some extent, and then another rascal comes along and explains it again, but differently with different words. And all the time, the phenomenon has remained the same. What advancement has been made? They have simply produced volume of books. Now there is petrol problem. Scientists have created it. If the petrol supply dwindles away, what will these rascal scientists do? They are powerless to do anything about it.
Swati Mataji.
Now there is a scarcity of water in India, but what are the scientists doing about it? There is more than enough water in the world. So why don't the scientists bring water where it is urgently required? They should employ irrigation immediately. But instead, they are going to the moon, the dusty planet, to make it fertile. Why don't they irrigate this planet? There is plenty of seawater. So why don't they the Arabian or Rani desert? Yes, they say in the future. I immediately say, yes, we are trying.
स्वाति माता जी आवाज ब्रेक हो रही है अभी क्लियर नहीं आ रही.
That when one is engaged in the business, satisfying unnecessary desires, he becomes bereft of all intelligence. Kamis ter Hrijata Jnana Bhagavad Gita. Hrijata Jnana Bhagavad Gita 7.20. This
हाँ
moon project
स्वाति
is child.
आवाज
हाँ
रही है
जी
क्या? आपकी
हाँ
आवाज
हाँ
ना ब्रेक हो रही है बीच बीच में, तो पूरा पढ़ने में नहीं आ रहा है ना?
अच्छा हो सकता है नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम हो, मैं बाहर हूँ तो शायद इसलिए।
ठीक है, तो मैं पढ़ता हूँ फिर आगे, ठीक है?
हाँ हाँ जी हाँ जी
आवाज तो आ रही है ना आपको?
हाँ आवाज आती है।
Okay. This moon project is childish. Those who aspire to go to the moon are like crying children. A child cries, "Mother, give me the moon." So the mother gives the child a mirror and says, "Here is the moon, my dear son." And the child takes the mirror, sees the moon in it, and says, "Oh, I have the moon." Unfortunately, this is not just a story.
After spending all that money to go to the moon and bring back just a few rocks, the people on the space project decided that there was nothing more to do there.
Now they want to go to another planet, but they are short of money. Going to other planets cost millions and billions of dollars.
People work very hard while the rascal government takes taxes and spend money unnecessarily. There should be no sympathy when so much hard earned money comes from the public and is spent so foolishly. Now the leaders are presenting another bluff. Don't worry, we are going to another planet. Now we shall bring more dust. We shall bring tons of dust. Oh, yes, now we shall have tons of dust.
They believe there may be life on Mars.
They may believe or not believe. What is the difference? Life exists here, but people are fighting. So, and when they ask to help one of the many poverty-stricken countries, they say no money, no money. Do you see?
प्रभु जी शायद आपने गलत वो कर रहे हैं ये वाला था
क्या हुआ?
प्रभु जी ने शायद गलत पढ़ा ये वाला था प्रभु जी
Oh, sorry. We were, I guess, कुछ गलत पढ़ा है मैंने. हाँ, they may believe or not believe. What is the difference?
मतलब प्रभुपाद के बात को ना डॉक्टर सिंह बोले कि भाई वो साइंटिस्ट लोग ऐसा कह रहे हैं कि लाइफ हो सकती है मार्स पे, वो ऐसा बिलीव करते हैं, तो अब उस बात को प्रभुपाद आगे बोल रहे हैं, ठीक है? यस इशू प्रभु.
तो कौन सा वाला पढ़ना प्रभु? मैं कंफ्यूज हो गया मैं. I guess.
ये वाला है प्रभु जी
हाँ. They may believe or not believe. What is the difference? Life exists here, but people are fighting. So, suppose there is life on Mars. There is life on Mars undoubtedly. But what will we gain from this?
People are curious to know what is going on there.
that means that for their childish curiosity they must spend vast sums of money just see the fun and what they are asked to help one of the many poverty stricken countries they say no money do you see
Srila Prabhupada, maybe hear a little bit about Sankhya philosophy.
There are actually two kinds of Sankhya philosophy. The ancient Sankhya philosophy originally taught by Lord Kapila Dev, and the modern Sankhya philosophy taught more recently by the atheist Kapila. Lord Kapila Sankhya's explain how to become detached from matter and search out Lord Vishnu within the heart. This Sankhya is actually a process of devotional service. But the modern analyze the material world into various elements. In that respect, it is just like modern scientific research. Sankhya means to count. We are also Sankhya philosophy to some extent because we count the material elements. This is land, this is water, this is fire, this is air, and this is ether. Furthermore, my intelligence and my ego. Beyond my ego, however, I cannot count. But Krishna says that there is something beyond the ego, and that is the living force. This is what scientists do not know. They think that life is merely a combination of material elements, but Krishna denies in the Bhagavad Gita.
अप्रेयम
जी, आप
तत्व
पढ़ेंगे?
अन्यम प्रकृतिम विधि में परम जीव भूतम महाबाहो या येदम धर्यते जगत.
Besides this inferior nature, earth, water, fire, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego, there is a superior energy of mind, which consists of all the living entities who are struggling with material nature and sustaining the universe. Hare Krishna.
Are both the inferior and the superior energies studied in modern Sankhya philosophy?
No, modern Sankhya philosophers do not study the superior energy. They simply analyze the material elements just as the scientists are doing. The scientists do not know that there is spirit soul, nor do the Sankhya philosophers.
They are analyzing the creative material elements.
The material elements are creative, and the soul is creative. Life cannot be created from a matter, and matter cannot create itself. You, a living entity, can mix hydrogen and oxygen to create water, but matter itself has no creative potency. If you place a bottle of hydrogen near a bottle of oxygen, they automatically combine without your help?
No, they must be mixed.
Of course, oxygen and hydrogen are Krishna's inferior energy, but when you the superior energy makes them, they become water.
Inferior energy has no power unless superior energy is involved. This sea, including the Pacific Ocean, is calm and quiet. But when the superior force, air, pushes it, it manifests high waves. The ocean has no power to move without the superior force of the air. Similarly, there is another force superior to the air, and another, until ultimately we arrive at Krishna. This is real research. Krishna controls nature just as an engineer controls a train. The engineer controls the locomotive, which pulls one car, and that car in turn pulls another, which pulls another, and so the whole train is moving. Similarly, with the creation, Krishna gives the first push, and then by means of successive pushes, the entire cosmic manifestation comes into being as maintained. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita 9.10. Maya dekshena prakrti suyate sacharacharam. This material nature is working under my direction and is producing all moving and unmoving beings. And in the 14th chapter, 14.4, Krishna says, Sarva yonishu konteya murteha sambhavantiya tasham brahma mahad yonir aham bija pradhapita. All species of life are made possible by birth in this material nature, O son of Kunti, and I am the seed giving father. For example, if we sow a banyan seed, a huge tree eventually comes up, and along with it, millions of new seeds. Each of these seeds can in turn produce another tree with millions of new seeds, and so on. This is how Krishna, the original seed giving father, is the primary cause of everything we see. इसके आगे आप पढ़ेंगे?
Unfortunately, the scientists observe only the immediate cause. They cannot preserve the remote cause. Unfortunately, scientists observe only the immediate cause. They cannot perceive the remote cause. Krishna is described in the Vedas as Sarva Karanam, the cause of all causes. If one understands the cause of all causes, then he understands everything. Yasmin vijyate sarvam evam vijatam bhavati. If one knows the original cause, the subordinate causes are automatically known. Although the scientists are searching after the original cause, when the Vedas, perfect knowledge, declare the original cause to be the supreme personality of Godhead, the scientists won't accept it. They keep to their partial imperfect knowledge. This is their disease.
Scientists do not know that
I
there
think
are
we'll
two
stop
types.
here. 2 मिनट बचा है. एक बार आप इसे हाईलाइट कर लीजिए कनक माता जी, ताकि कल से
Prabhuji,
यहाँ शुरू
last
करेंगे.
paragraph ही बचा हुआ है बस.
Okay, ठीक है. Yes, अनुष्का माता जी.
Ji, Prabhuji. Scientists do not know that there are two types of energy, inferior and superior. Although they are actually working with these two energies every day, material energy can never work independently. It must first come in contact with the spiritual energy. So, how can people accept that the entire cosmic manifestation, which is nothing but matter, has come about automatically? A competent machine does not work unless a man who knows how to work it pushes a button. A Cadillac is a nice car, but if it has no driver, what is the use of it? So the material universe is also a machine. Prajit, should I continue?
No, I think we're good. आप इसको मार्क कर लीजिए कनक माता जी, कल यहाँ से शुरू करेंगे ना हम लोग.
ठीक है प्रभु।
Okay. Anyone wants to share anything? No?
मुझे एक question है इसमें जो अच्छा लगा, प्रभुपाद ने वो 2-3 बार रिपीट किया था चैलेंज साइंटिस्ट, तो उसके नीचे प्रभुपाद रीजन देते हैं कि व्हाई आई कैन चैलेंज द साइंटिस्ट, बिकॉज आई नो द कृष्णा. Again and again quoting that he is the causes of all the cause. So if you know the Krishna perfectly, you will be knowing the science of this material world perfectly. That I like that point. कि प्रभुपाद जिस तरीके से derive कर रहे थे वो analogy, that is मतलब extremely impactful.
Yeah, that was amazing. उसी लाइन में प्रभुपाद वो भी जब बात बोल रहे थे वो भी काफी अच्छा था कि वो कुछ भी नाम दे दो, हाइड्रोजन ऑक्सीजन बोले, एक रास्कल है वो हाइड्रोजन ऑक्सीजन बोलेगा, पोटेशियम बोलेगा, और दूसरा रास्कल आएगा वो भी उसको सपोर्ट करने लगेगा. बोले आप नाम कुछ भी दे दो, बट अगर आपका जो रास्कल टर्म है वो जनरल पब्लिक के सामने आप इन्हीं नामों से जाओगे तो जनरल पब्लिक क्या जवाब देगी, है ना. तो ऐसे बड़े बड़े सब्जेक्ट बना देते हैं, फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री, मैथ, मैनेजमेंट, नई नई टर्म यूज करते हैं. अब लोग क्या बोलेंगे बताइए, लगेगा कि बड़े बड़े टर्म यूज करने में समझदार ही है फिर तो बात प्रभुपाद बोले. मुझे वो पॉइंट काफी अच्छा लगा.
मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि प्रभुपाद ना उनके खिलाफ ही है. प्रभुपाद इज लाइक कि they are doing the right thing, ठीक है करने दो उन्हें, they are giving the subject name, chemical names, but they are hiding or they are not introspecting or speculating on the right thing. प्रभुपाद उसके खिलाफ है कि हाइड्रोजन ऑक्सीजन नाम दे दिया, लेकिन where they are coming from, what is the original source, at least focus on that. तो एटलीस्ट इससे दो चीजें है ना प्रभु, लेकिन तो लोग कहेंगे कि आप चाहते क्या है हमसे, कि वी डू नॉट स्टडी, वी डू नॉट प्रोग्रेस इन द साइंटिफिक वर्ल्ड. तो इससे वो वाला एक नेगेटिव पड़ेगा. बट व्हाट प्रभुपाद इज ट्राइंग टू पुश ऑन दिस कि आप थोड़ा और मतलब और थोड़ा सा इंट्रोस्पेक्ट करेंगे, थोड़ा सा और मतलब अंदर जाइए थोड़ा सा कि पता तो लगे कि एक्चुअली ओरिजिनल सोर्स क्या है इस चीज का. तो वो दे आर नॉट आस्किंग द राइट क्वेश्चन. प्रभुपाद वहां स्ट्राइक कर रहे हैं बार बार कि this is the thing what I observed from whole conversation. Yeah.
प्रभु जी, मुझे वो वाला पॉइंट बहुत अच्छा लगा जब प्रभुपाद ने बोला कि मतलब वी आर लाइक वी वांट टू बिकम फर्स्ट क्लास एस, और मतलब और अगर हम दूसरे बंदे को देखेंगे, कंपेयर करेंगे, तो वो हमसे ज्यादा फर्स्ट क्लास एस बनना चाहता है. मतलब ये एक रेस है परफेक्ट एस बनने की. और मैंने ये वाला पॉइंट मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा कि साइंटिस्ट जा रहे हैं मून पे या कहीं भी और टर्न्स ऑफ डस्ट ला रहे हैं और सिर्फ डस्ट डस्ट ही लाए जा रहे हैं. प्रभु जी, आर नॉट ऑडिबल.
अभी आवाज नहीं आ रही है?
बहुत लो आ रही है प्रभु जी.
ओके,
अब ठीक है प्रभु जी.
अभी ठीक है. ओके ओके, मैं बोल रहा हूँ वो भी काफी अच्छा पॉइंट था कि अभी जाएंगे डस्ट लेके आएंगे, फिर दोबारा जाएंगे, फिर डस्ट लेके आएंगे, डस्ट के भंडार लगा देंगे यहाँ पे, और इसमें इतना पैसा खर्च कर देते हैं.
हाँ जी प्रभु जी.
ओके, सो विल स्टॉप नाउ. वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.
Thank you for joining everyone. Hare Krishna.